everybody. How you doing? How you doing? What you got going on? That's right. It's Windows Day. This is Miss B, Positively Miss B, right here on Storm Talk 365 Radio with two of my favorite men tonight. Author Chris Allen. I call him Pastor Keenan Allen.
How you doing, Miss B? How you doing, sister?
Doing good, doing good. If this is your first time joining me, this is Issues of Men with Chris Allen. This is his show, and he's brought along a guest, Keenan Allen. And tonight they're going to talk about part 2, men's issues. You can find us at www.stormtalk365radio.com. But more importantly, follow us on our fan page, Storm Radio 24/7, where all of Chris's videos are available for on-demand viewing, live every Wednesday, 7 p.m. East Coast time. You can even download them if you know how to do that. But that being said, again, follow us on our fan page, and we thank you for your support. Chris is an absolutely amazing host, and a lot of things that we've been talking about can be applied to women as well. So again, Chris, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time out to join me every Wednesday.
Oh, absolutely, and thank you. This wouldn't be possible without you right now. So thank you, man.
All right. Okay, so we're going to move forward. So Chris, give us an overview of what we talked about last week, and then we'll move forward into this week, if you don't mind.
So last week, just to give an overview, we started with men's health, 40 and over, and we talked about specifically, health conditions and different things that we need to be watched out for as men. And right now, this is just a continuation of this, the part 2, some of the things that we missed because we had so much content and discussion from last week, we just didn't get to it. So we're going to bring that to you this week to finish this up. And then by the time the end of the show, Miss B, Keenan, and I are going to have an announcement for you, and we're going to keep this going.
See, churn shouldn't do that. Do y'all know I'll be 65 years old next month? These online surprises, in case y'all didn't know, I'm just going to break it. That's what you get with live. Chris did an anniversary video for me. And if you have not seen it, please go to Issues of Men to view it, because he got me. And now he getting ready to get me again. And I'm but I love me some Chris.
I keep forgetting about the surprises.
That's all right. I love me some Chris. Keep on surprising me, baby. There's nothing but love between us. So, Pastor Keenan, again, I'm going to leave the show between the two of you. And if you like my input, and anybody who watches my facial expressions, that's just who I am. So it is what it is. But I'm going to try to be quiet because these men got something to say. So, Chris, go ahead. Let's talk.
And so last week, what we started off as, and this is true, so if you missed anything last week, please go back and watch the program, Men's Health 40 and Over with me and Keenan. And we talked about last week, men are always talking about we're good. It don't matter if we fall off a building, and as long as we're able to get up and crawl away, walk away, drive away, we're fine. Normally, we don't complain. Complain about too much. So we don't go to the doctors as often as we should or go get checked out. So this is where all this is stemming from. And we also talked about last week that this is in the Word. I didn't make this up. This is in the Word. It says, God says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. And he said, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. And that also pertains to everything that he's put here to help us heal as individuals. All the herbs and the fruits and the nuts, the vegetables, the things that he's put here. And, we're not using them to help us to stay healthy and maintain for ourselves and our families and things of that nature. So to get things started this evening, our first topic of conversation, again, it's a very serious conversation, and it's striking men. Usually they say it's men in their late 40s, 50s, 60s, and moving above. But there's been a recent study as of 2013 that, erectile dysfunction is also hitting men in the 20s and 30s now. And we're going to get into talk a little bit about that. And if you don't know what ED is, erectile dysfunction, it is the inability to attain or maintain an erection adequate for sexual satisfaction for both partners. And again, this is something that is common. Um, it's something that men don't want to admit or talk to, whether that's their partners or their friends or whoever. Nobody wants to admit to say, "Oh, I'm having some issues or some problems." But it's again, this is something that happens, and um, it's more prevalent amongst older men. But it also, again, as I said earlier, it affects younger men as well. Um, and I just want to say that we're going to get into the effects of ED, erectile dysfunction. Um, Keenan, what did you want to have say in regards to tonight's topic for erectile dysfunction?
Well, it just rolls in from what we were talking about last week, and a lot of it starts with how we live, and a lot of it has to do with our diet, what we're eating, and there's some things that we can't control. A lot of environmental effects are out of our control for the most part because we don't put stuff in the air and we don't put stuff in the water and whatever. But we have some control over that. We can watch the water that we drink. Like you were saying yesterday, it's not drinking dead water. I mean, last week, dead water. And, it has a lot to do with the foods that we eat, the processed foods that we eat. And what's crazy is when I was looking into this, the diet that is the biggest offender as far as it causing or contributing to erectile dysfunction is an American diet. It's a
Yeah.
traditional American diet. It's just bad, on so many levels.
Terrible.
And the other topics that we have on deck to talk about too all goes back to the food, and so that's where it really starts is how we're living, what we're ingesting, what we're putting on our bodies, and what we're breathing. But food is the major contributor to that, as well as some other things. And as we talk about it, we can get into that too.
And now, Keenan, you talk about talk about men, right?
Yes.
Um, from the day that we can understand and that we can walk, think, be conscious of things. Men are taught. We're the breadwinners. We're the disciplinarians. We're the providers. Um, we handle everything that we need financially for the household. Lead the household. So with that being said, I think a lot of us as men, being fathers or just being who we are, getting to learn and know who we are as men, as individuals. Um, let's talk about stress, anxiety, and stress related to jobs, money, and other life events contribute to ED, which ultimately gets into relationship problems and poor communication with the partner. They can cause sexual dysfunction in both men and women. You talked about diet, just a few minutes ago, but it is ED can cause the breakdown in any relationship, no matter how strong your relationship is. And it's just that you definitely have to have the communication and the support as well from your partner to figure out what's what and what's going on as far as that's concerned. But stress and anxiety is, um, you know, definitely a problem. Um,
Yeah.
and last week, we talked about balance, men being able to control their emotions better, be able to get centered, get balanced. And, you know, a lot of times too, as men, we hear and we talk about like, we hear, you know, we're supposed to go a whole hour and 2 hours, 3 hours, and all night and things like that, right?
Right.
And
Nah.
and you talk and you talked about porn and things like that. So when we get out of touch with ourselves and we start getting into porn, watching things of that nature, um, men have a lot. They look at this and they believe that they're supposed to be doing these things, or they're supposed to be. And what it is this the video, whatever how they're doing and merging the scenes together. Like this man is going on for hours at a time. One second, I'm gonna let you cut in, and men get performance anxiety, you know, but naturally the process is anywhere 3 to 5, 3 to 10 minutes. Miss B.
Look at here.
Yes.
Even in my younger days, before any enhancements was involved, after a while, the fluid drop and the women get dry. Like, you done yet? And no, I'm serious. Think about this now. You got men being hyped up thinking they need to do this, this, and this. But the women are the recipient of the thrust. You are thrusting and you are penetrating an orifice that impacts everything above it. So you think you're supposed to be poking in that same hole for an hour. And I'm supposed to be like this and enjoying it. And I'm drying up and I'm like, are you done yet? So the reality is, be emotionally involved to the point where the erection is natural and not feeling like you have to overperform. There are a lot of women who are like, give it to me more. But the rest of us are like, you done yet? And a lot of times men think, seriously now, and if the women want to chime in, that's fine. The men think sometimes they say no because they're not interested. They be like, oh Lord, not tonight, please, Jesus, I can't. It's just too much. You know, and it's not always about they don't enjoy it. It's just that y'all don't know when, you know, it's like enough is enough, because now I'm not enjoying it anymore. You're aggravating me because I'm, you know what I'm saying? Yes. So society, and not only porn, and like you said in the Bible, I want to let people know, be who you are in your relationship with your mate, and don't feel that you have to perform according to porn, society, or unrealistic expectations. There are some people as a couple, 3-5 minutes, thank you, ma'am, and they just love each other and move on. You see what I'm saying? Because it's the connection spiritually and emotionally, not necessarily the length of the connection. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Okay. So this is from a female's point of view, saying, think about the woman who's receiving the supposed affection, when reality, after a certain time, it becomes, to some women, I'm done. Please be finished. And they be like, okay, honey, you done yet? And sometimes these male enhancements don't really enhance the relationship.
No.
You see what I'm saying? Because anything that does not relax normally and is timed, that's not cool. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you even got to break the pill in half or use half of the gel, understand. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Don't miss the connection romantically by trying to perform. That's just my opinion. I'm just saying.
You know, no, you're absolutely right. And Chris is absolutely right. There's so much pressure put on young men. It was like from the time that we start talking about girls, and cats start lying about what they've done, because you haven't seen anything, dude. There's always this pressure, this expectation of a man being able to last like forever. And here's the trick, though. You know, when you're a young man, though, that's for real. It's like you can go. Like, I remember when I was younger, it was like I would look at the clock and just be trying to break records, and but like, you know, I'd be like, you that dude, man. Like, whoa, you put that work in. But that doesn't last forever. Work. It's like a roller coaster. You get up, and then zoom, and then you be thinking the next climb is not that high. Okay, and so it's just for time. And then you start thinking that now because you can't last that long as you used to, you're still good, but you can't get that back, and you start feeling like you need to be able to do that because the signals and the messages that we have been receiving since we were young is that that's the thing. And even young girls receive that message too. Even when they're young girls, they may not even believe that, but that's the message that they have, and that they put the pressure on guys to do that too. You know, and if a guy doesn't, like their girlfriends may say, yeah, he lasted, forever. And then you don't last forever. And then it's like, what's wrong with you? And then you start feeling some kind of way about yourself. And we have to outgrow that. But it's absolutely the flesh. That's what it all comes down to, is the flesh. And like you said, Ms. B, it's the spiritual connection. It's that time, that intimacy that's spent together, leading up to the actual consummation. And then, it's like eating. You put a lot of work into cooking the food. It only takes 5 minutes to demo that plate. You know what I'm saying?
But you still enjoy it.
Good. You like, whoa! And like,
Yes.
and you happy? Happy that I'm happy that it was good. I said, man, that was good. And so it's somewhat like that. And so we have to, like you said, have realistic expectations and understand it's about the spiritual connection. And I think that what happens with that is then we're hit with this other blow. A lot of men were then the effects of ED, and I'm gonna tell you, porn has a lot to do with that. You watch porn, and all that imagery and that fantasy and all of that stuff causes you to think that when you get with your significant other, it's like, and you it's like the same thing, because she ain't looking like that, she ain't acting like that, she ain't freaking like that, and all that stuff going on, and it's like psychologically
It messes with your head.
it messes with your head, which messes with your work, and it can take your ability away.
Yes.
Can I interject?
Yes,
See,
ma'am.
that's why women need to listen to this program, because number one, what you want from that man largely depends on what you give that man. And if you're not romantically involved, stimulating him, showing affection, and you just want to be the recipient, he can feel it. Now, there's a good chance that someone may have ED, but you can help him along by being more romantic instead of sexual. You see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
The intimacy has a lot to do with the mindset, and the mindset has a lot to do with how other parts of the body perform. And if he's focusing on trying to perform because you're showing him that you're not really being satisfied, it's going to be limp real quick. So what I'm saying is, and I was really talking about the relationship, but okay, if you want to do it that way, but I'm saying women need to understand the same way you want to be satisfied, you should be concerned about satisfying your mate. Now, I'm going to get off, but I want people to really understand that you all have other topics to talk about, but ED is very important. When you get into a relationship, I know sometimes these one and dones, overnights and whatever, but in a real relationship, the conversation should center around, what are you expecting from me sexually? Am I satisfying you? What can I do to make things better? Some women will have problems with, I really get dry real quick. How can we work through this? Whatever it is, don't just bip, bam, thank you, ma'am, and talk things through and get an understanding of the expectations, the level of performances. And you can say, honey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have any hair, but I love it when my husband rubs my head. It's like, oh Lord, I'm yours. You can have anything I want. So tell your mate what makes you perform better, or what makes you receive the performance better. And then regardless of there's some issues, the romance and intimacy sometimes can far outweigh the sexual experience. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Absolutely. If I could just real quick, earlier today there was some person who was doing had a video on, probably was Facebook. My wife was listening to it, and I started listening to it with her, and it was a sister, and she was basically um screaming at other sisters about how they want a man to be all these things, everything, and they're not, giving him what he needs. They're thinking about themselves, like what they're looking for, but they don't think about what that man requires of you. And and if you don't give him what he requires, then she's like, then why are you mad when he goes looking somewhere else? I'm not condoning that, but what her point was, if you don't take the time to find out what it is that he requires of you, and then you fall short of that, don't you shouldn't be upset. And if you haven't been with them long enough to take the time to find out these things, to see if you even can even get together, if that's even a good match, then don't be angry or complain about the choice you made. You should have taken some more time to do a little bit more research and find out what's really good or what's not really good. But just like you want him to do this, that, and the third, what about what he requires, what he needs, what he's looking for, and can you live up to that?
Right.
Can you live up to all those things, not just the sexual part, but like the mental part? As far as who's doing what. If I'm moving this way, I need you to move this way with me. If for us to do this, we need to be on the same sheet of music. We need to be
Right.
working, going in the same direction. And she was like really loud on women. But she said because she feels like a lot of sisters have these expectations of men that are not fair, because they're measuring them based on what they think he want or needs, or on what some other dude that they was with before, you know, bringing his stuff along, saying, I'm gonna give you what I gave him, and the next guy's like, wait a minute, I don't even want that. What is that? Or I need something else.
In addition to everything that we discussed so far, and we talk about, depression and the withdrawal feelings, whether that's through your relationship, it's a contributing factor to this ED, something that men are having. So we're talking about obesity. Um, Obesity is also something that causes um, ED to happen. You got this extra weight and pressure that's on your veins, your corpuscles, your arteries, and everything else, causing your heart to work work a lot harder, and it's still not reaching the areas that it needs to reach. So we definitely have to watch our weight in proportion to our bodies and how our body is functioning, before and prior to having sex. Now, diabetes is major in our culture, in our communities. Um, and diabetes is just the process. Our body's not able to, produce enough insulin to counteract or fight the sugar levels in our body. Too much sugar, we could go into coma. Not enough blood sugar, you have a lot of issues as well. Coma, your body goes into these different things, and with diabetes, it affects a lot of organs in your body as well. You can have a total breakdown as far as that's concerned. And we all know someone who has it and who's dealing with it, dealing with diabetes. So diabetes is an effect for both men and women as far as our desires, our appetites, and our functionality in um, sex and our relationships. Um, this also contributes to what we talk about: high blood pressure, low blood pressure, and a breakdown of our veins and supporting blood flow. And we'll get into some of the reasons why a little bit later, how we should exercise and do some of the other things that we need to do as individuals. Um, Testosterone levels, you talk about men talking about rah, rah, rah. all the time. Testosterone is not necessarily, that we high strung and we savages and we have the attitude all the time. That's not exactly what we're talking about in this particular instance. It's just that our testosterone levels in our body are abnormally too high or too low, and that may have something to do with our pituitary gland. So again, that's why we need to go get checked out and go to the doctors to have our hormone levels checked. Um, and one of the things that I find, again, on this exercise kick, exercise naturally. Don't use no steroids, fellas. Steroids eventually, I know they get you muscle mass and get you looking good and nice and, you flossing and, all that stuff like that. But again, you have all this testosterone built up in your body. But again, you put yourself at a high risk to have erectile dysfunction and for it to have a permanent impact on your life. So we definitely have to watch out for that. Heavy smokers, we definitely have to be careful. That leads to erectile dysfunction. Heavy alcohol consumption, and what we were talking about a few seconds ago. We talk about illicit drugs, trips, and men take these things to prolong sex, but in the long run, it's destroying your body's natural function to produce the hormones and the things it does, the blood flow and things of that nature for you to do it naturally, and eventually it stops working. Period. So we have to be very careful in regards to that. Now, the next thing I want to get into, and it's Keenan and Miss B. Fellas is scared. They scared. We're talking about prostate enlargement. The prostate, right? And a lot of times, when your bladder or something is going a little bit amiss, you might have a bladder infection. It could be a prostate infection. Some type of a prostate infection or something of that nature. But when you having trouble being able to go to the bathroom, you be able to pee, be able to, it could be an enlargement from whatever that may be. It could be a tumor. It could be cancer. It could be just irritation and infection. But it's something that we have to be very careful of as far as the prostate enlargement. And fellas, don't. Keenan, you want to jump in and talk about why a lot of fellas, when they're experiencing not being able to hold their bladder or not be able to, they feel like they got to pee, can't pee. And I want to get into talking about why we're afraid of going to the doctors or why we don't readily announce this.
Well, I think that for one, we don't know much about it. No one really talks to us about it, and when we do talk to somebody, especially in our peer circle, we may not always get the best advice or whatever. Or sometimes we're just afraid. I know people who know that they need to go to the doctor, but won't go because they're afraid of what they might hear, instead of thinking more rationally that the longer I wait, the worse this may get. If I do something right now, I may be able to intervene and nip this in the bud, or not have such a drastic result. But when things, and listen, you've been with yourself all your life, so when things start not working right, you need to pay attention, like, frequent urination, like you said, especially there at night, not being able to have a good flow and everything, at least every year. And one thing that I do is I have my annual wellness check or physical, whatever you call it. I always base it around my birthday. So in September, I have that scheduled, and I use my birthday as a marker. And you go and you get your labs and you see your numbers, and you're able to see what it is that you need to work on and where you're good. And a lot of these things, most of the things, if not all these things, can be corrected before they get to critical level. But can be corrected with lifestyle changes. A lot of it has to do with our diets, so prostate enlargement also can cause erectile dysfunction. And a lot of it has to do with what we're eating. This high fat, high red meat diet, this meat with every meal diet that we love so much, is a big contributor to it, as well as the other poisons we put in. But a diet that's rich in vegetables and fruits and beans and excuse me, and whole grains, with moderate amounts of dairy and red meat, is a good diet. A diet that's lean, like lean proteins, like fish, that's a good diet. The right poultry, that's the right diet. And it's funny because the fat in this stuff has such a big, how you doing, Karen? The fat in this stuff has such a big impact. It's funny, in the Bible it says, when it's talking about the diet, it says that the fat is for the Lord. It says for us not to eat fat or drink blood. So you have a lot of people eating rare steaks, and let me get the fat on that, or just the consumption of fat. The Most High said that that's not good for us. And these dudes was having babies way older than me right now. All right, so they had nothing. They didn't have ED.
Hundreds of years old.
Right. They may have tried and not hit, but they were listen, to make a nation, right? They was making a nation, and they were up to a ripe old age. So, and also they didn't have sedentary lifestyles. They got up, they worked 6 days out the week, rested on the Sabbath, they recharged their battery, and got right back at it. So that way that they lived, the way we're supposed to live, that if we did that right, we wouldn't have a lot of these problems.
And Keenan, just to add on to what you're saying too, is that a lot of men avoid having prostate examinations, or making sure that they you don't have colon cancer and things of that nature, is because they feel like if we go get checked, our friends gonna laugh at us. Yeah, he gonna put on that glove, and he gonna penetrate me. I'm gonna be gay, and this, not the third. Look, y'all. No man or no woman behind there is gonna be ravaging you with fingers and things like that.
You don't even feel it.
It's over.
I got Chris. Real talk. Not to cut you off, but real talk. I went and got me I went and got my doctor, my physician. I would deliberately got a petite woman doctor.
Yeah.
Small fingers. There you thinking.
I read all between the lines.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we're going to take a short break. That is amazing. Small fingers. He thinking outside the box. He knew what he was doing. All right, everybody, we will come back. We're going to continue with the rest of the topics that these two men have come up with tonight. Thank you so much.
I don't see myself as having a lifetime of accomplishments, just a lifetime of doing and giving. I do it because I can, and I love doing it, and I don't give myself kudos.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Issues of Men with Chris Allen and Keenan Allen. And we were talking about ED and many other things. What you just saw was a short clip of a new episode that I'll be airing on Storm Radio 24/7's fan page tomorrow, as a matter of fact, November the 11th. As I move 5 years and 11 days toward my 6th year, I'm making a lot of changes, and one of them is to bring forward Talking Healthy with Miss B. One of the episodes will be airing on Talking Healthy with Miss B the second Thursday of every month. You just saw Dr. D. She allows us to call her Dr. D from Norfolk State. She'll be talking about mental health issues, COVID, and a whole lot more. But that's once a month, second Thursdays of every month, 7 p.m. East Coast time, right here on Storm Radio, Storm Talk 365 Radio fan page. And there's a lot more coming for Talking Healthy with Me. Speaking of Talking Healthy, that's what we're doing tonight. Talking Healthy about some men issues. We've talked about ED and how other underlying factors can hinder that, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, fake drugs, and a lot more. But Arthur Chris Allen and Keenan Allen are giving you a men's perspective, and I'm looking forward to the rest of what they have to say. So, Arthur, what's next?
Yeah, I was still laughing about that taboo situation. You know, your friends and people gonna be like, "Ew, Keenan, you gay? Why you gonna get that? How you gonna let that happen to you?" Look, yo, it's not a it's not a gay thing at all. As far as I'm concerned, like if that's what I'm going to be to keep me healthy to save my life, then you call me that all day.
You call me what you want.
But I know I've had two colonoscopies, had 2 prostate examinations, and this is all because of when you take account for your family history. You know, you look at your grandmother, your grandfather, your mother and father, and things of people in your family who have issues with certain things. I had to take that into account. A lot of people in my family have had polyps, develop a polyps. And so, you know, we are very diet conscious in what we do and what we eat. As far as that's concerned, you know, once we found this out, and there's many people, you know, are experiencing this and, you know, and having that. And, you know, just in regards to all this too, again, man, Keenan and I, Ms. B, cannot really stress as much as when we're younger, our bodies can handle a lot of toxins, a lot of things that we're putting in our body and the way we're treating our body. But as you're getting up that ladder, your body doesn't handle those things as well. It starts to affect you more. And it's like your body is throwing tantrums like a kid. So
Literally.
It catches up to you. The stuff that you did when you was younger catches up to you as well. All that abuse. You can't beat something up over and over and over and over and not suffer consequences. You know, the youth is a beautiful thing, but it's a very short window. And after abusing yourself as a young person, it will catch up. And the more you abuse yourself and how you abuse yourself, you know, will determine how soon it will happen. And here's the other thing. We do things, we live a lifestyle that causes us to get sick. And when we get sick, we take medicines. And I'm going to tell you the truth, this medicines is poison. And so, you know, now you're making yourself sick to be made more sick by, you know, taking something that's supposed to help you to be well, but it really, you know, isn't. It may quell the situation, but it's not solving any problems. And while it's not solving any problems, it's creating new problems. And if we, again, it goes back to, and listen, a lot of people have an attitude, well, I've been doing it all my life, so I'm not going to stop now, whatever, or I've been, you know, doing it this way thus far. And they just don't want to change their ways, even though there's all evidence right before them that there needs, right in your face, that there needs to be some changes. And the changes do not have to happen overnight, because you did not get this way overnight. You know, so don't put that kind of pressure on yourself, because you will set yourself up for failure. But moderate, incremental lifestyle changes Don't do it all at one time. Take on one thing at a time and knock that off and knock it off until next thing you know, you're living. You're different, and the things that you used to want so bad before, you don't have the same taste for it, as you once did. But some people just can't escape, what the life that they've been living and all the joys of it. Do things in moderation. You enjoy that? That's fine. You don't have to have it every day or a couple times a week. Savor it. Wait a month. It'll taste so much better.
Right.
You'll appreciate it so much more. It'll be so much of a better, reward. And then, because again, we have so many of us have sedentary lifestyles. We have to accommodate for that. If you sit down all the day on your job, then you need to do things that after that, activities that require movement and lots of it. Walking, jogging, rowing, kickboxing, shadow boxing. I don't care what you do, jumping jacks, but you need to put 15 to 20 minutes of some movement into it. Even if it's just a good walk. The weather's nice and the store's up the block, don't jump in your car and drive. Walk to the store. If you have an option of taking the steps or the elevator, I mean, there's not a whole lot of elevators in Virginia that I've seen, but in New York, take the stairs, if you don't have to go to the 50th floor. But it's things like that when you're watching television, in commercial time, get it in. Do some crunches, do some jumping jacks, do some stretching, do some you don't have to sit on your butt and do it all the time. And even at work, they have these standing desks, right? Stand up and watch TV and exercise a little something while you're watching television. It's a good way to to use your time.
May I?
Yes, ma'am.
One of the things that I'm going to be incorporating into that new Talking Healthy with Miss B is different ways to exercise. A lot of things we need to do includes detoxification and getting a lot of aerobics in. One of the things that I learned in my quest for better healthy choices is using a rebounder. What you do is so simple. And they have it for the elderly. They have a lot of different programs, but get you a trampoline. They got them as, depending on your weight, $19 at Amazon. But, the better it is, the more buoyancy it has. But there's a lot of different ones out there. But if you don't do anything else, especially if, for me, I have bone spurs in both of my knees, and the rebounder helps because I don't actually have to leave the platform as long as I'm bouncing. And so I suggest, especially since this is a men's health show, if you're limited in space or if you're limited in time or you're limited in interest, like when you're watching the football game, get your rebounder out and just start bouncing. You can walk back and forth. It's a lot of different, things on YouTube that show you how to use it. But one of the things that I learned is detoxing is very important, and so is movement. So, and piggybacking on what the men have said, keep it moving. And even if you decide to eat, drink unhealthy, still keep it moving. You'd be surprised how detoxing and, draining your lymph nodes can help a lot. And if we're talking about ED, diabetes, high blood pressure, and all of that other stuff, I'm not saying a rebounder is the end all to everything, but research it, read up on it yourself. Don't just take Ms. B's word for it, but I'm, just making a suggestion for better choices.
Well,
I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, and when you said aerobic, and that's so key because of the ED, it's about obstruction of flow. And when you have aerobic exercise, you're getting your blood pumping, and you're getting those veins opened up, and you get some flow. Get yourself some NO2 or something and get some flow. And aerobic exercise is what does it. When you're eating a cheeseburger and sitting down, You're not flowing.
And that, that's absolutely true. And again, I know when I have one. I don't use it as often as I should, but what it does do, as far as your lymph nodes and people who have, oh my God, what is that thing in your throat? The
Thyroid.
Thyroid.
And your lymph nodes in your body, they capture and filter different things. So if things start to get stuck, your blood flow is ceasing, it's not flowing like it should, things are going to accumulate there. Therefore, you're going to have pressure and problems and different things going on. So you got to get that toxin out of your body. So jumping up and down and moving and it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's
you know
fun.
what, Chris? It's like simple physics, though. If you leave a car sitting down for a year, you don't drive it, do anything to it, it will rust. It won't run. It'll be messed up. The tires will go flat. It'll start to rust. The engine will be jacked up, right? But if you drive that car every day, it's gonna run good. The tires, unless you roll over something, tires are gonna be fine. You're not gonna accumulate rust like that. The engine's gonna just, boom, boom, it's gonna work real well. People are the same way because physics is physics. The laws of the universe don't change for whatever object it is, necessarily. There's a combination of things that cause a cause and effect, and yeah, that's if you move, it's life. I've seen people who have retired and did nothing, and they like died 5 years after they retired. Then you have people who retire and they just keep working. They may have retired from nothing, but they keep doing, whether it's volunteering or they're doing something, they stay active and they just live and live and live. We were meant to move.
Facts.
All right, meant to move. I'm loving that. I'm not going to interject anything else except I seriously agree with everything they said, and a lot of it has been based on ED, but moving keeps everything, like you said, our engine that does not get started and keep the oil and everything going, it's going to clog up on you. So that has a lot to do with ED. What's clogging up on you? Chris, I'm trying not to watch you tonight because you are really animated tonight. I have never seen you. You're funny. So it's not me tonight, everybody. It's Chris. He's acting up big time. All right, Chris, what else are we going to talk about? We got about 10 minutes left. What's up?
So with that being said, with about 10 minutes, I do want to announce, if anybody, right now, if you have any final thoughts this evening, I know we shared so much, and that could be our final thought for this evening. So let me bypass that, and we'll get back, get into, if you want to share information and things of that nature about yourself and what's going on. But next week's show that we're going to have on the issues of men, we're going to talk about, do your personal demons and scars ever go away?
Ooh.
And, that's something that I feel that is very important because a lot of times, people are living survivors of their open wounds. Some people don't survive. Some people are, they're alive, but they're not living.
Come on now.
We're going to get into that next week when we talk about, do your personal demons and scars ever go away? We're going to talk about how to deal with that as well. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Keenan. Did you have anything you're going to say in regards to that? Next
about next week's topic?
Yeah.
Well, I think this about when it comes to our demons. Yes, I do think we can get rid of our demons. I think that, but I don't know if people really understand what that means. That when you say demons, I think people think of it kind of like figuratively, or a word to represent a trauma. Okay, but it's deeper than that. They're real. Demons are real things, spirits, and people deal with them. A lot of times you think you're dealing with a person, you're dealing with John. You're not dealing with John.
Right.
You're like that spirit that John coming there with that just makes him whatever. It's like you're not talking to John. You're talking to somebody else. And then John snaps back and he's himself like seconds later and is like, act like nothing happened. Oh yeah. So, it has a lot to do with what you're doing that allows that demon to exist within you and operate with you and take up host in you. And that's a big and deep topic, man, because that's written all throughout scripture, all through. As a matter of fact, from the beginning to the end, that is the topic of the demons and the spirits that we don't deal with flesh and blood, but with principalities and powers and spirits. That's what's happening, and we're just vessels. And so the answer to that question is yes, you can, but it's not easy, and there's a lot that has to go into and with that, and yeah.
Miss B.
I'm grinning like a proud mama. I'm grinning like a Cheshire cat. Let me tell you, your topics have gone deeper and deeper with each episode. And, I strongly believe that if we could just truly understand who we were as spirit beings in the beginning and get back to that, because we were created by a spirit to live by the spirit. We were created to return to the spirit, obey the spirit, go out and make other disciples in the spirit. But if we don't understand who we are spiritually, we're going to continue to act as a human and let our intellect and emotions set us up. It's a trap. So I agree with that. And again, but if you don't know to do better, you can't do better. And, Satan's whole agenda is to steal, kill, and destroy. And that's another story. But if he can separate us from who we are, who we're created to be, and the power and authority that the Father has given us, then we're being set up. So it can be done, but you have to understand that Satan is real. The spirit realm is real. We are spirit beings, not humans, first. And I'm looking forward to that topic. And I'm excited that you brought that up.
And that's gonna be something else. Oh my goodness!
I'm gonna try to be
It's gonna be
quiet.
hot. So I was like, Keenan, would you be able to tell the listeners again about your product line and what you have going on?
Sure, absolutely. And just to say, we talked about what it is that we ingest, but it's also what we put on our bodies, and those things are being absorbed in us. I don't know if you ever heard of triclosan. Triclosan is a chemical that is used in many products like antibacterial soaps and body washes, lotions, and toothpaste, right? It contributes to allergies, eczema, asthma, and wait for it, erectile dysfunction. It lowers sperm count. It messes and wreaks havoc on your hormones. And so because of that and other carcinogenic and just detrimental chemicals that are in skincare products, my wife and I created Sanaa Melanin Body Care, a beautiful work of art. That's what Sanaa means. It's Swahili for a beautiful work of art. And we make beard butters, and we also make sugar scrubs, and we have oils, body and hair oils, and we also make body whips and body butters, whipped body butters, and it's all organic. All of our products are organic. They are they're moisturizing, they're nourishing, they're healing to the skin. This is keeping it 100. The changes in your skin the appearance, the feel, the just all around health of it. You can look at yourself and just be like, wow, I look good. Like, I mean, this is skin's supposed to look like this. Am I airbrushed? And you know, that's what happens when you use Sanaa, and I love it. And you know, where it's easy to get www.sanaa.mbc for melanin body care. SanaaMBC.com. Go on there, peruse the website, and treat yourself right. These are high quality products with high quality ingredients, and it's not going to break your pockets. You can actually do well for yourself and afford it. So I would definitely say, come on, because it's not always just about the money, man. We gotta live better. We gotta be more healthy, and the flavors are crazy, man. It smells good. I haven't used cologne in over a year because I put this on, and I'll be shining and I'll be smelling good. So and my beard is full. I used to have a little struggle beard, man. Now my beard is full because this beard butter, I mean, the stuff we put in it, all the ingredients, organic oils, coconut oil, jojoba, argan, sunflower, sesame, sweet almond, coconut, gosh, shea butter, that's our base. I know I'm avocado. Listen, we put all the good stuff in the tea tree, and like I said, the flavors are amazing. So go on and check us out.
All right. Thank you, Keenan.
Thank you.
All right, Chris. What's the big announcement? I ain't gonna beg you. What's the big announcement?
Well, let me start here first. The big announcement is that the third Wednesday of each month, starting next month, I'm going to have my special guest, Keenan Allen, is coming on, and we're going to talk about men's health, 40 and over. We're going to do this once a month because there's so many important topics and things that we have to talk about and that needs to get out there. And again, we don't want to be under the judgment because of being ignorant. And when they say ignorant is bliss, no, it's not. It's not bliss at all, especially when you're going through something and you're feeling something. So we are coming on the third Wednesday of every month, and we're going to talk about men's health 40 and over. And I'm also just in the process getting my different templates and models together for my I.O.M apparel, the Issues of Men apparel. It's going to be hats and also t-shirts, hoodies, whatever you want. I'm going to have it for you. So I've been working on that, and I'm going to get it done. Also go to www.author Chris Allen to find out more about me, the author, speaking engagements, my mentorship, and things that I have going on. And you can also purchase Open Wounds, the adult version, or a youth version for ages 8 to 18. And I also have a guidebook that also goes along with that. So you can have group discussions, whether that would be, it could be, whether it be a church, it could be your organization, group homes. It's there for you, and it's great discussions, especially for youth and teenagers, especially that youth book. There's a lot of scenarios that happen to me personally in my life that they'll be able to get a good sense. They'll be able to connect and, be confident that they'll be able to move past whatever they're moving through, by engaging in communication and discussion. Miss B?
I'm still grinning. All right, everybody, you heard a mouthful. Keenan Allen, please go to Sanaa MBG, right?
NBC,
and get a load of all of the products, natural products that he has available. And author Chris Allen, let me tell you, I'm going to just send you to his fan page. It's just a minute. Everything else is there, but I want you to go to his fan page so you can make sure you look at all the videos, because I try to post them. If not, find them on the Storm Talk 365 radio fan page. Congratulations on your Wednesdays Talking Healthy for Men. I'm excited. Welcome aboard, Keenan Allen, to Storm Talk 365. And Chris, again, I'm just like a mother with the buttons popping. I'm so proud of your growth. with the issues of men. Sorry, everybody. Find him here every Wednesday, 7 p.m. East Coast time, with or without Miss B. And then third Wednesdays, Keenan Allen will be joining. I am excited. Thank you so much, everybody. Be blessed. And Keenan, please type that in. Go to the original video on our fan page and type that information in on our Storm Radio 24/7, okay?
Will do.
All right, sir. Love all of you. Have a blessed night. Bye-bye, everybody.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.